When it is hot, the absolute last thing you want to do is cook. And I've been watching YouTubes and TikToks, and everybody's making charcuterie boards. So I thought I'll make one too. So today I'm making my charcuterie board, and I'm going to actually make two, and I'm going to show you how easy this is. There's nothing crazy or complicated about this. The first thing you need is some sort of platter. So my daughter got me a gift. It's my own charcuterie board. She and I have had really wonderful boards down in Los Angeles at the Grove, at the original farmers market. They're like 30 bucks, but they're so good. So she got me one of my own that I can make at home, and it says Michelle's Kitchen, seasoned with love. You see all this stuff on the counter. It's gonna make sense in a minute. It kind of all goes together in some form. I have meat, cheeses, I have some sweet, I have some sour, I have some crackers, I have some savory, and we're even gonna top it off with a drink. Me and my drinks. So the very first thing that I want you to do is think about next time you go to the store, and it can be any store. I went to Sprout. I went to Sprouts where the majority of this came from. They have a really nice fancy cheese section, and I'm not talking crazy fancy. I'm just talking kind of cool different types of cheeses and different flavors. And then they have boar's head, which is a really nice meat. I have already had some guava paste. I'll tell you about that a little later. And then pickles are from Vaughn's. We got some olives there at Sprouts, and we get some toast points, and then I have crackers, and all of this is going to make this really cool board. I'm telling all that because you need to think about kind of what your overall theme is. The French market at the Grove at LA's farmers market has 5 or 6, I think we might even have a few more.
Monsieur Marcel.
Monsieur Marcel. Probably just totally butchered that. Monsieur Marcel. You can choose your own board there. French, Swiss, American, I even think. So anyway, we always get the French one. But so the whole idea is that you choose your theme. A successful charcuterie board is going to have like a theme, either a theme, maybe a country theme, like they do at the wonderful restaurant slash store in LA, or you can do cheeses that just naturally go together, and that's kind of what I did today. So I chose roasted garlic, rosemary, I have a balsamic vinegar, and I have a Gouda with bacon, and these all kind of go together. They're all hard cheeses on this particular one. You could do something that was soft to give you some texture differences. Now, the whole thing about cheese boards is that you don't put the whole block of cheese down. You don't do that. You need to have wedges or maybe different slices. So I'm going to do these a different way. I took the tips of my rosemary and my balsamic vinegar, and then I took the fatter end of the Gouda, and I'm going to break up the two ends. So I'm going to just kind of break up into chunks the rosemary, but I'm going to slice my Gouda. And some of the reasons why you're doing all of this different work is because it looks nicer, but also you're kind of doing what the cheese wants you to do. This Gouda really wants to be sliced, and these harder cheeses like the ɛSHärʻko, they want to be crumbled. So I'm not going to cut it all, and I'm going to cut maybe half of this, and then I have the roasted garlic, which I'm also going to just cut off the fatter end and slice that up. So why would you do a charcuterie board? You do it because it's hot outside, you don't want to cook dinner, you guys want to have a game night. It works really great for that. It's a great thing if we ever get out of quarantine again and you go to a party to actually somebody else's house. Please invite me to the first party that you have. I really want to leave my house. You can cut it up, and you can even just take it to the party in little packages, and then you assemble it just a couple of minutes in the kitchen. Check with your host though, because the last thing you want to do is assume that you're going to have all this extra access in a house, because a lot of times you don't. So I'm done with my cheeses. I have roasted dry Italian spicy salami, and I'm going to take a sleeve. This is a bunch of meat, but I'm going to cut this in half, right down the middle, break it apart a little bit, so it's really, really easy. I'm just going to right now make a little pile. Really simple, easy. And now I'm going to get into my hard salami. This one was a spicy dry Italian. This is not spicy. This was freshly sliced, and it's boar's head. Boar's head is a really nice meat that's also a little difficult to find. Not everybody has roast boar's head, and these are really big. And I only asked for like half a pound for this particular, and I probably won't even use it. So you even could go a quarter of a pound. Just slice those right down the middle to make halves, and just break them apart. Has a different feel, has a different taste, a different moisture content, which is really what you're going for. You want all those different. And now I have some prosciutto. Prosciutto is another one of those that is almost mandatory that you have. It's very salty, but prosciutto goes so well with sweet, salty, everything. And the whole idea with these is that you just lay them down. They're fall apart. You want them sliced super, super thin. And I'm just making a nice little pile of it. Next, I'm going to add something just a little bit sweet. This is very optional. All this is optional. You use what you like best. I personally like just a little bit of sweet, sometimes with salty. And I am using guava paste. I got this guava paste in LA at the Brazilian supermarket, which is this really tiny little supermarket. I don't even remember where. It's south of LA. And it was only $2.29 for this big chunk of guava paste. You do a lot of stuff with guava paste, so when I open this, I'm not going to waste the rest. And it's also one of those, as long as I haven't opened it, it stays for quite a while. I want a chunk of it. I have about that much, so I'm just going to plop that right down, kind of right in the middle. And again, guava paste is just the paste of the guava. Again, this is from Brazil, imported from Brazil, and it's just something extra sweet. Other things that you could use your most favorite jelly in a little bowl, or a marmalade. An orange marmalade is that sweet, kind of bitter taste that goes really well with super salty meats, as well as quince paste that you can find a lot easier probably, or again, anything that you like, or you don't use it at all. Next, I'm going to add some olives, and these olives are spicy olives, so it pairs with the spicy salami, and it cuts the sweetness of the guava paste. I'm not going to put a huge amount down, and I'm actually going to put them on the side with the spicy salami, because that to me just makes a little bit of sense. And again, you just heap them on. You don't have to worry about it. So next I'm going to slice up really quickly about, what, 3 pickles maybe. And if you slice them, you can wrap your prosciutto in them. You can do whatever you want. And I'm putting these on the side of the dry salami, or the non-spicy salami. Okay, now I'm into what sort of other accoutrements am I going to add. So I have Triscuits, which is rosemary, and remember I have the rosemary cheese, so that makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to put the rosemary Triscuits over next to the rosemary cheese, and then I have bruschettini, which are little just snack size, and I'm just going to make 2 little heaps of those back by the other 2 cheeses. I also made some little toast points, which were simply a sliced bruschetta, that I melted some butter and a little bit of garlic, popped them in and toasted them. And I want them, again, because we're going for a different texture, I'm looking for a kind of a crispness so they can stand up to some of the more softer things I have here. Two more things for this board is that I also have some dried fruit, and this is just some mixed fruit kind of right there in the middle. The last couple things that you need, and usually charcuterie boards you don't have a lot of utensils because you are using the chips and all that to break everything up. So but today we're going to add a little fork, and that will help pick up, and a knife that really will help cut the paste. But you can also do this as a vegetarian, and as my son wants to be, and you can take off the meat. You don't have to use any of the meat, and you can substitute maybe an extra vegetable. Some of that, again, they're easy to pick up, easy to eat. So I have my son's favorite cheese, which is a rosemary cheese. I have a little bit of the dried fruit, a little bit of the quince paste, added a couple of veggies, some carrots, some fairly thinly sliced cauliflower, a couple onions just for that little bit of flavor, and I'll just top it off with a few more of these crisp breads. You could add as much, again, or as little as you like. A couple of other things you could put on here could be maybe a hunk of a chocolate, maybe, or anything that you want. Some more veggies, whatever sounds really good. Tempeh, maybe you could do some fried. You can do some fried tofu, something like that. Whatever tastes really good room temperature is perfect for these wonderful. So you can do it if you're vegetarian. It's not just for meat eaters. Now you're going to ask, what do I drink with this? I have a couple of really great options. Go super simple and just some. Here's a Perrier with juice, strawberry, kiwi. Really nice, really refreshing. When they're super cold, they have that fizziness. And it just works really nicely with the salted cured meats. That's one option. Another option, if you want to get a little more fancy, is maybe some sparkling wine. Again, you have the effervescence of your real bubblies. Another option, probably is my favorite option, I'm going to use another seltzer. This is a blueberry tangerine seltzer. And I have my wine glass, and I put some frozen blueberry, a lot of frozen blueberries in there. Not sure if I meant to put that many. I'm going to just pour in my seltzer. It's such a pretty color. And to get really fancy today, I'm going to add a splash of rum. And the rum will really kick it up a notch. And you can finish off the top of your gorgeous board with spring onions. Just sprinkle those over. Maybe you could add a little bit of mint leaves, or you might even want to add some honey. You can add all sorts of other herbs or edible flowers. Never add anything to your plate that you can't eat. You don't want anybody to die of some weird poisoning. So, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I hope that you try a charcuterie board really quickly. So, I am done with my charcuterie board. We are going to eat really well tonight with our games that we're going to play. We have a couple picked out, and I have my wonderful blueberry tangerine rum drink to eat. I have a drink for my son who's not of age, and I have some sparkling wine for my daughter, and I have the beginnings of his vegetarian platter, and he can add some more stuff to it as long as he wants. So again, thank you for subscribing and coming back and indulging in your favorites. Remember, there are no rules. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Bye-bye.